What's up, guys? It's your boy Aftershock, the 500-pound monster of the Carolinas. And you're about to get backhanded with some truth, with hashtag truth, with Scott Larson. Here it is.
Watch it all fall down around you now. Was it ever really worth it? Having your kingdom crumble to the ground because you never had the courage. Stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up.
Hey guys, I'm Luke Childers, and today I want to talk to y'all about bullying. My whole school life I got bullied, and people don't realize what they do when they say mean stuff to you mentally and physically. So I reached out to our great friend, Cindy Virali, Creative Sewing Designs, and she helped me make this shirt. It's I will be your friend, because I feel like everybody needs a friend. And also, all together, let's stop bullying.
Hi guys, just want to say, bullying is not cool. I'll be your friend.
Ask yourself, how would you feel if you were being bullied? Let's stop bullying together. I'll be your friend.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hashtag Truth. Tonight we have the one, the only Big Country. Man, it's been a while, brother.
Yeah, it's been a little bit.
We were talking before the show, and you were saying that, man, 2023 has been not too kind to Big Country, man. Tell us a little bit about what's been going on and why we haven't been seeing you lately.
Yeah, I feel like Barry Horowitz in 2023. I've been getting jobbed out left and right. Started out getting COVID, then I got a hernia, had to get that worked on. Got the flu, got kidney stones, got arthritis in my foot. You know, all I got to do is, say what's next.
It feels like that sometimes, man. I know that feeling. Mr. Coster said country. So last time, man, it's like I said, it's been a long time since we've seen you wrestle. And with last time that I heard about you, now I didn't know about all this stuff that was happening in 2023. I don't, we don't call each other every day, that sort of thing. But last time I heard you had something wrong with your legs. You had a hernia, and you had some cellulitis or something going on in the bottom of your legs. And how's that going? Is that healing up really well? Or?
Oh, I've been done with that. That was what actually kept me out of the last Holly Yatsko show, which really pissed me off because there's one show that I really want to make every year.
Right.
It's the Holly Yatsko show, but yeah, it's that ain't one thing, it's another. I'm telling you. Usually I can fight through stuff and keep myself in the ring, but once you get older and older, you can see by the beard, getting a little bit grayer.
Yeah, we're all getting the grays, buddy.
Yeah, your body doesn't bounce back like it used to. So, you got to step back and, take care of yourself, because if you don't, then it turns into something worse. And then next thing you know, you're down for the count.
Right. That is so true, man. And when was the last show? I don't even remember the last show you were at. Do you remember the last show you actually wrestled before all this started happening?
That was that ladder match with Caleb Crocker. That was the last one I wrestled in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the one where he cheated again. Yeah, that's that Caleb Crocker. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, man. So it's been that long. That's so what have you been doing other than healing? I mean, are you what are you doing? I mean, I'm not trying to get into your business, but
Oh no, I mean,
being
I
at
work.
home all the time, is that driving you nuts other than work?
Well, I'll tell you, it's amazing how just a little bit of time to yourself away from things gives you a broader perspective of what you appreciate. Don't get me wrong, for now since July, 20 years, I devoted my life to professional wrestling. I used to put it above everything, anything and everything. Didn't matter if I was hurt, if I was sick, if I had broken bones, torn muscles. I always, was able to rise above it and keep at it. But like I said, as you get older, your body just doesn't, if you keep stretching rubber bands, sooner or later, it's either going to snap or it's going to get so stretched out that it doesn't have that elasticity anymore. So you just got to step back and put yourself first. And, that's what I've had to do. It's been 8 months, and don't get me wrong, I miss it, but
Right.
I'd rather take the time to get myself better and, you know, then figure it out than try to do anything too soon and end up messing myself up worse.
Right. No doubt. Because like you said, it takes longer. The more you get injured, it takes longer, and then you're just setting yourself up for total retirement. And we don't want to see you totally retire, but we're going to talk about after wrestling here in a minute. But James Johnson said you being back is making my heart so happy.
Yeah, I
Now,
haven't seen James or his family in a long time, and I really miss
now
him.
James Johnson. Now I have to tell you this. I had it queued up, but unfortunately, when we started the show, something happened and it blipped off. But I can probably reinstall it. We're going to go over your match, Christmas night of 2021. It was supposed to be your retirement match, but you're never going to retire. I know you're not. You're going to keep right on going. But there was a match you had with this man right here. I'm glad he came on because it was an excellent match. That was a totally awesome match. You went up against him. We're going to watch that in a little while.
Yeah, see, everybody was like, oh, I thought you were retiring. Every day, I told everybody I needed to step away because
Right.
sometimes you got to recharge the batteries. You start, people don't really know this. Sometimes the wrestling business can get really toxic, and there's only
Some
so much
people really know.
toxicity. Yeah, there's only so much toxicity your body can handle, and if it gets too
Right.
much, hey, if anything toxic enters your body too much, you get really sick or could die from it. So the toxicity was getting so much that I decided I needed to step away because if I didn't, it was going to get so bad where I would end up despising professional wrestling, and I didn't
Right.
want to do that because I have such a love for the business that I didn't want it to come to that. So I took it upon myself to step away, let everything
Right.
recharge. I think I might have came back a little bit too quick, but I did promise my friend Chad Adams, who up until this past year we did Wrestling for a Reason at the Fort Mill Strawberry Festival, which is
Right.
funny because I'm definitely allergic to strawberries. So, but we would do that every year, a 2-night show. We stopped doing it because they limited it to just Saturday, and the amount of money that man comes out of pocket with, he doesn't make any money off it. Everything is out of pocket,
Right.
and as you've seen from the flyers, the amount of names that he has on that thing, you got to think if you're shelling out for that and not recouping anything, that's a lot of money. But he
It
has
is.
one of the biggest hearts of anybody I've ever met, and he does it because he loves it, and he loves to be able to do that for people, and it raises money for cancer awareness and everything like that. So, I promised him no matter what that I would be there and do that. And then once I did that, I got that little itch, and I was like, well, maybe. And then, I let that itch take over, and I came back. But
All it takes is a few of those fans to come up. Big Country, we miss you. And
yeah, because I mean, it is all about the fans. I always tell people, without them, there is no us, and that's not just a moniker. That's not just a saying. That is literally the truth. If we did not have wrestling fans, there would be nobody to pay the promoters to come and see the show. There would be no way they could pay
That's
us
it.
to come and wrestle for them, and there would be nobody for us to wrestle in front of. So, people say
No
that
doubt.
because it's a popular thing to say, but I say that because it's 100% the truth.
There you go, without a doubt. Straight Up Wrestling Show. Scott Larson, hashtag Truth in Full Effect. What's up, Scott and Big Country? Harry and Chris, go check them out over on Straight Up Wrestling Show. They do AEW, they do WWE, they do indie scene. They do it all over there. Go check out Harry and Chris, man. They're doing great. Straight Up Wrestling Show said wise words, country. That it is, because it's all about the fans. I've been screaming that ever since hashtag Truth began. And speaking of hashtag Truth beginning, you've been a lot of firsts for me. I don't know if you realize that. You were the first independent professional wrestler I ever talked to. I don't know if you realize that. We met at the flea market the first time I went to EWF. You were the first guy to ever come on hashtag Truth when I had my actual show here on StreamYard. You were the longest running for a long time. You were the longest running episode I had, 2 hours and 39 minutes. That was just broken by Ron Emerson a couple of months ago. But I mean, and at that night, you weren't even the scheduled guest. The scheduled guest I had double booked or something, or couldn't show up or something. And you took his place and did 2 hours and 39 minutes. And I'll never forget it, without a doubt.
That makes it better because it was an off the hip kind of show. You were prepared
right?
for Ron, and everybody knows Ron. Ron is extremely
Right.
long-winded. So, I understand. I'm surprised that you probably had to tell him to stop, and you had to go. But
we could have probably went another hour. There's no joke in that.
well, I know that me and you could have gone longer, but I know that both of us
yeah.
had stuff that we had to do, so we had to cut it a little short. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
I always love coming on and talking with you. You're a level-headed guy who's,
Thank you,
pretty
man.
wise to the business and everything. So, yeah.
I
just
like
think
having
it's been so
fun, man.
long.
Most of all, I like having fun. And you're always a great interview because, if anything, you're truthful to a T. And I love that. You know what I'm saying? There's some people that come on here and, I'm not going to lie. Out of 400-something interviews, there's been a few who you could tell, look through, read between the lines, they're kind of bull crapping, but you never do that. And I see you all the time out at shows. So it's totally awesome. Rhonda Ruff said, hopefully he will make an appearance at the Billy Ruff Memorial Cup. Maybe not. We'll find out shortly.
I need to put that date in. If Rhonda, if you could type in what the date was again, I got to save that on my calendar.
So there you go, Rhonda. Throw the date out at him. But I heard through the grapevine that there's going to be 2 shows on the same night, and I'm kind of heartbroken over that because then I got to choose one because I believe the Haliatsko and the Billy Ruff are going to be on the same night.
Oh,
Yep.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Well, here's how she does it. Do it earlier in the day.
Yeah.
If you do it earlier in the day, I should be able to make both of them.
I got you. Oh, that would be awesome. That would be totally awesome. But yeah, October 28th is going to be a busy night for a lot of wrestling venues. Let me tell you, a lot of great shows going to be that night. And I love both shows. Don't get me wrong. As you can see behind me, I've got both shows on posters on my wall. You can't see it because it's over in the corner over there. But I got 4 Haliatsko, and I've also got my big Billy Ruff poster up there that was signed by everybody. So I love both shows.
Well, I think I'm the only wrestler to actually win both of those. So
You might be. See, another first. There you go. A world full of firsts. I love it. I love it. Well, we're going to hit our first commercial break. And then when we come off of this, man, if you guys have any comments or questions for Big Country, it's been a long time. As he told you, he's had a lot of problems over 2023. We're going to talk about maybe a comeback. He said he's going to be at a few shows coming up. But like I said, you have any questions, please feel free to ask away. I've got one already queued up. So we'll be right back after this quick message from Retro Toys and Collectibles.
This is 4 Foot Batman. And 4 Foot Batman knows the home of great collectibles at awesome prices. Retro Toys and Collectibles, movie memorabilia, Magic the Gathering cards, wrestling figures, Hot Wheels, the always popular Funko Pops, and much, much more. He knows the Hall of Collectibles is located in downtown Cherryville, North Carolina, at 400 East Main Street, Give them a call today, 980-989-5181. Retro Toys and Collectibles, the heavyweight champion in collecting.
Retro Toys and Collectibles right there in downtown Cherryville. Let me tell you, Cotton is the owner. Call him up. If you collect anything, ladies and gentlemen, if he doesn't have it, he will be able to get it. Let me tell you, he's a wonder when it comes to collecting. All right, let's see. Brandon Ledford said, hey, I forgot about the interview. I just joined, but when are you going to come back to HWA?
Oh, Brandon Ledford.
Brandon Ledford.
Well, I guess now is as good a time as any. Actually, this next Saturday, August 12th, I will make my in-ring return at HWA Wrestling to smack the piss out of somebody, because I mean it's just been so long. Somebody needs to get the piss smacked out of them.
There you go. Here's the card. We'll go ahead and do it. HWA live this Saturday, August 12th, 217 Gilkey School Road, Rutherford, North Carolina, 28139. Doors open 6:30, bell time 7:30. $10 at the door. Kids 12 and under get in for $5. And you heard it here. Big Country making his comeback at HWA. He's going to slap the piss out of somebody is what he said. So always look forward to that. I don't think there's anybody I don't think there's too many men that are just as big as you that wouldn't have to take that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, even though I haven't been a part of the wrestling community for a while, I've been keeping my eye on things. And there's some guys at HWA that seem to be a little bit too big for their britches. They're getting a little bit too comfortable because there isn't that person that's able to put people in their place in that locker room. So I'm going to walk up in there. I'm going to put my boots on. I'm going to, go out there and do what I do best, and that's shut people up.
There you go. Man, we got a lot of people talking. Rhonda Ruff said you have won the Billy Ruff Memorial Cup not once, but twice.
Well, yeah, I won the tag team and I did the Battle Royal. So, yeah, okay.
There you go. James Johnson said, taking the wife to the movies. Just wanted to say I love you, big guy. Can't wait to watch the interview when I come home. Please come back and watch it after you take the wife out to the movies. I am going to be showing a match between Big Country and yourself on Christmas 2021. It was a great match, and I wanted to show it. One of the best matches I've seen both of you two in. August 12th, I'll be there just to see you. Oh, there you go. Oh, Casey Leanne said, Scott Larson, sir, I do not see the NCW logo at the bottom of your screen, sir. September 2nd, Pro Wrestling Union, South Carolina, Ray Bitt Memorial. Hey, Big Country, glad to see you back. Can't wait to see you slapping the hell out of someone. She's agreeing with you. Casey Leanne, I've got so many logos of companies that want to be at the bottom. I kind of, in my mind, I kind of grouped everybody around AWL. So, forgive me if I was wrong by doing that, but it's hard for me to squeeze, 20 logos in a little area that I've got at the bottom of my screen. So I put as many as I can, sweetheart. Trust me, I didn't do it on purpose. Mary Nally said, Country, are you coming back to wrestle at 3 count?
Well, I'm back. So hopefully all the promoters that used to book me will see this, and I guess that's up to 3 Count Pro if they want to have me back. I know I haven't been there in a while. I know they've been moving on to bigger and better things. So, if I'm lucky enough, they will. If not, still wish them the best.
Oh man, you've been wrestling all over the place, man. I'm gonna ask you that question right after this. Straight Up Wrestling Show said, "Don't call it a comeback. He's been here for years, slamming his peers, keeping wrestling in fear." Woo!
Oh, LL Cool J, gotta love it.
And Casey Leanne said, "I ain't mad at you, giving you hell." I got you, Casey. I got you. I just wanted to make sure you understood, man. I try to get everybody. But yeah, okay, we're going to keep going. Scott, I want to see you back at HWA too. Okay, it's possible. I just got to get my health going. And I got to get I had a disaster. Okay, you talking about a bad 2023. I went and they finally got me a wheelchair. Okay. First show I go to with it actually wasn't a show. It was a memorial for a commentator who had died in our area. And I went to the show at APW, and they have a gravel parking lot, and then you got to go into the door. Well, they were helping me in my wheelchair get in, and my wheelchair just broke apart. Right out from under me, man.
Yeah, that parking lot there at APW is a little dangerous. Just walking down that thing is dangerous.
But hey, it is what it is, man. Oh, there you go. Chuck says we love you, country.
Chuck.
Yeah, and me too. Yeah, I'm a secondary. Okay, I got you, Chuck. Yeah, okay.
One of my former managers, old Chuck.
Oh man, yes sir, yes sir. He still says the whole shooting shebang when he talks too.
Would expect nothing less.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, we love them. We love them. So you're coming back off of all this stuff, and you're getting back into wrestling. Has all these injuries slowed you down? Has it changed the way you wrestle? The way you're going to wrestle? I mean, you're a big man to begin with, and you've always been, grounded pound. I don't see you flying off the top rope any day soon, but you know what I'm saying?
I don't think any promoter.
Is it going to change? Is it going to change some of the style of what you do?
It's. I've always prided myself on. I may not be the most technical or the most quickest, or the man with the biggest moveset, but I know that I'm very good at entertaining people, so that's never going to change. You know that when you see me walk through that curtain, you're going to get your money's worth. I'm going to make sure that you're entertained 100%. I guess it's time will tell. I'm gonna once I get in there, we'll see how much rust is there, and we'll see how my body feels. I'm not gonna try to do too much too soon, but I'm not just gonna go in there and phone it in. I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna do what I've always done. Hit people when I hit them. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be fast. It's gonna be strong, and when I leave, people will be pleased.
Right. I mean, I remember the first time, and I tell this story all the time. Every time your name's brought up, it just amazes me that, and I'm a big man, so I can say this without anybody getting upset. I'm 450 pounds myself. When the first time I ever saw you wrestle, I thought to myself, oh, here's just another big guy in the ring. And next thing you know, you had a guy in the corner and your leg went straight up like this to choke him out. And I was like, okay, I can't do that.
Yeah, that's why I named my super kick the WTF super kick, because usually when I do it, people are like, WTF. Yeah. I've always prided myself on going a little bit beyond what my capability. People think my capabilities were, but as you get older, the joints don't move like they should. I mean, I'm probably still should be able to kick people in the jaw, but yeah, you're probably not going to see me do as much hardcore stuff as I used to. Plus being on blood thinners, you get busted open. That stuff's hard to stop.
Oh, snap! Yeah, you don't want to touch that. Oh, the Legend Killer said, "Hey, Scott and Big Country, we love y'all." Brandon Ledford had to join the love. He said he loves us too. He also said, I'm going to the Forest City Owls game tonight. Haven't been to one in 2 months, and it's playoff time. Enjoy yourself out at the Owls game, Brandon. I appreciate you watching when you get back, brother. I really do. Uh-oh. Chuck has a 2-part question. That's why this is my partner right here. I love this guy. In your time in the biz, who has brought out the best in Big Country? That's the first one.
I give that. Well,
it could be multiple.
You want to name. You don't want others to feel like they didn't. But if I had to say 3 people, I would have to say James Drake, Ethan Case, and James Johnson. Those are,
man, 3 great names without a doubt.
I mean,
and of course, who brought out the worst in Big Country?
I'm gonna tell the story.
Let's keep it down to 3 people. I'm just saying, no.
Well, no, my worst ever experience had to be there was a wrestler by the name of Insane Crazy J. I was wrestling in Kings Mountain for New Millennium Championship Wrestling, and we were doing a
Okay.
show where all matches were in a cage. And the moment I walked in the locker room, the promoter came up and apologized to me, and I was like, "Why are you
That's
apologizing?"
never a good thing when the opening
Yeah.
line in the locker room is, "I'm sorry, big country."
If I knew then what I know now, I would have just picked my bag back up, turned around, walked back to my car, and drove back home. But told me the guy I was going to be in the ring with had been around the business for a long time, but was still
Right.
very green. And I was like, okay, well, that's not really a good thing when you're inside of a cage. And
Mm.
yeah, he's like, just keep it simple. So I went to the guy, and we talked some stuff out, and we get in there, and nothing went right.
Oh
And
man.
by the only thing I told him was he used to carry a fork around. I was like, "You're not Abdullah the Butcher, so keep that in the back." Well, towards the end, he bumped, and the fork fell out of his pocket after I had told him to leave it in the back. So, believe it or not, I picked the fork up, picked him up, and I literally lacerated his forehead with that fork. I literally thought we were going to fight when I got back in the locker room, but he was actually happy. But that was
Wow.
one of the worst experiences I've probably had inside of a ring. But
And
yeah,
nobody
I mean,
knew the better because it was in a cage, right?
well, I mean, no, yeah, I think even the fans realized that I was not having
Oh,
fun.
okay.
But
Okay.
I mean, there's other times I've had my shoulder dislocated. I tore my calf muscle at Chase High School wrestling for EWF when we were doing that benefit show. You know, oh, I was wrestling James Drake, and literally, I think 2 minutes in the match, I broke my ribs.
Oh,
And we
snap.
literally wrestled for like 15 minutes more after that. And the only reason I was able to do that was because James talked me through it. And like, you know,
Now, see,
people,
that's cool. That's cool right there. When you got somebody who's a vet in there, and you're a vet yourself. But I'm just saying that okay, I know you're injured, but let just keep going. I'll walk you through it, and just
because
man, that's awesome.
naturally your body, when you go through something like that, is stop. Your body's
Right.
like, don't do anything, don't move, whatever you're doing, just stop. And us as professional wrestlers, we have to evaluate what happens because injuries happen all the time. And a
Right.
lot of times a wrestler, like everybody talks crap about, remember when Sin Cara broke his pinky and he
Right.
wanted to stop the match? I mean, that I'd say is a little,
Right.
wussified. But
I mean,
when
breaking a rib, and I'm not saying this in jest because, of course, I'm a big man too. But breaking a rib and being a big guy, that's gotta work your cardio too, because it's hard
you
to
can't
breathe when you have
breathe,
a broken rib.
you can't, everything you do is surrounded by your core, which is where your ribs are at. And anything you
Right.
do slightly sets it off. So yeah, how I did it, I have no idea. Now I probably wouldn't be able to do it. I was like, yeah, I'm done. Give me a stretcher. I'm out. But Ethan Case,
Wow.
the first time I wrestled him was at ACCW. This is when they still were first starting out, and
Good old hidden night.
I was called by the promoter there, which is Mike Levy at the time,
Right.
and he said, "Hey, would you have a problem wrestling Ethan Case?" And I've known Ethan for a long time. I first met him at APW and when it was back in Spartanburg, uh, and I was like, I would love to because I've watched the guy. I watched him at PWX. I watched him all over the place, and it was he's one of those guys that you were like, yeah, definitely. And we
Right.
went in there, and I could tell he was nervous because most people when they see me, they're like, oh, this guy's going to be stiff. He's going to hurt me. We went out there, and literally I think we were the first sold out show they had, and
Nice.
so we went out there, and literally for 20 minutes we tore the house down, and he put me over big, and I could never thank him enough for that. And when we went back to the back, the crowning achievement, the thing that my validation for that night was, he said, I will wrestle you any day of the week and twice on Sunday. So for a
Man,
man of his caliber and where he's been and what he's done, to give you that stamp of approval, it's It's
That's Dr. Feelgood moment right there.
oh yeah. And then anytime I've been in the ring with James Johnson, we beat the piss out of each other, but that's what brothers do.
Right, right.
We just go out there and we have fun, and it's usually we both end up bleeding from it. So.
Ron Emerson Jr., speak of the devil. Wrestling Wire, guys, go check it out. I've been fortunate enough to see Big Country perform. Underrated, period. Yes, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but I'm somebody's.
Big Country is one of the best big men in the biz today, said Charles King. Thanks, Charles. Welcome to Hashtag Truth, man. I've got to tell you, without a doubt, I'm going to move my camera again. Hopefully it don't ruin my whole show. But look at right up there at the top of the wall. You will see the very first autograph picture we ever got in wrestling. That's my daughter in Big Country right up there in the middle. That was back at EWF. And it'll stay on my wall forever. Without a doubt. So we've known each other for, gosh, I think since 2011, I want to say. So It's been over 10 years. It's been over 10 years. So, man, it's been a while. It's been fun the whole time, let me tell you. And I've seen you wrestle not only at HWA, EWF, but I've seen you at 3 Count. I've seen you at New Millennium. I've seen you, you're not just at 2 or 3 places. You go all over the place, man. Of all those matches that you fought, is there one that comes to mind that you would say up to this point is your greatest match? I know there's been a lot of matches.
Well, I've done a lot of firsts, like in Charlotte, North Carolina at Club Hush. We did the only buried alive match in independent wrestling. That literally took years off my life. I was wrestling a guy named Sephiroth, and they literally truckloaded in mounds of dirt, and they built a grave site basically in the corner of Club Hush. Now this is a nightclub where they have dancing and music. So
goodness.
We have a mound like you would see at WWE. We have a mound with a hole in it, and we literally beat the living crap out of each other. Like, we bent guardrails. He hit me in the face with a shovel. There's actually a picture, if I can find it, where I dove off the stage onto the bottom part of the mound of dirt and elbow dropped a chair onto him. But
oh my goodness!
That match literally took years off my life. I took one of the stiffest chair shots I ever had by Sweet Dreams that night.
Yes.
Yeah, we still talk about that. But I've done death matches. I remember in Kentucky, I did a 10,000. The tack strips they use to hold carpet down.
Right.
It was a 10,000 tack strip match. It was me and Belton Creedmoor versus Terry Houston and rest in peace, Colt 45.
Right.
And it was, I literally, I beat the crap out of Colt 45. I'm not even going to kid you. But there was no ropes. It was barbed wire, and the tack strips were like taped onto the barbed wire.
Oh man.
I've done regular death matches. I've done hardcore matches. I've done, you name it. Double dog collar matches.
I've seen you do ladder matches. I've seen you do all kinds of matches, man. That's one thing I love about you. Speaking of woolly veterans, look at this. Travis Thompson said, "What's up? Good to see Big Country in the house."
What's up, buddy?
I'm going to try to get this man on in the near future, Mr. Thompson here. Not only is he a woolly vet in wrestling, he just obtained his black belt. I'm not going to say what style of karate. He'll tell you because I don't know, but I know he has just obtained his black belt. So congratulations, sir. Mary Tedder said, "Hey, Scott, how are you doing, Mary? Welcome back to Hashtag Truth." Here we go. Ron Emerson's got a book. I met Big Country officially for the first time about a year ago. He was selling merch at a show Thomas Scott put on in Charlotte the weekend of the gathering. I sat and talked with him for 2 matches, other than when I was announcing, and I knew just from talking to the guy that I could learn from just sitting there. I have horrible memory issues, but don't we all, dude? Don't we all? But he knows his stuff, and I won't hear any different from anyone. You got that right, dude. I'm right there with you on that, Ron.
I've taken many a chair shot to the head, and I'm surprised I can remember half the stuff I can remember.
Right. And we're just podcasters, and he's an announcer. I mean, we don't really get, into the rough stuff. We have bad memories. It's just age. Missy Childers. All right. She said chain matches.
Yeah, I had one against her husband, Mr. Thunder Anderson, there for NAWA. I had to. It was a chain. I used a chain, but it was I think it was a last man standing match I had against her husband. I literally chained him to James McComb outside of the ring, so he couldn't make it back to the ring. It was pretty funny.
That's great. Oh, Bam said, "Hello, country. Miss you, my friend."
Hey, buddy.
We miss you too, Bam. I ain't gonna lie. Welcome to hashtag, brother. It's been a while. Donald Gwynn said Trey Chaos misses those deathmatch tournaments. Been to war a couple of times with Big Country.
That's right. We did I don't know. You never got to go to a Milestone show, did you?
No, I didn't.
Oh man, Milestone was crazy. It was one of those anything goes, do whatever you want to do, say whatever you want to do. They used to do deathmatch tournaments, but they did a tag team deathmatch tournament, and I was teamed up with Justin Fireball. Yeah, and no, I'm just kidding. I love that guy. But we were known as Hell on Wheels, was our tag team name. And we wrestled Trey Chaos and Insane Lane. And during the match, I literally took a light tube, put it on Lane's forehead, and I headbutted it. And when I pulled back, his eyebrow was literally laying over his eyeball. It had lacerated his forehead and was laying over.
Oh no!
I felt so bad until he hit me with a. Do you know what a gusset plate is?
No, you have to explain
it's
that.
Flat pieces of metal that look like they have like 100 knives sticking out of them. They use them to frame houses.
I know what you're doing. Okay, I got you. The steel. Okay, I got you.
So I felt bad about that until he took a tennis racket that had gusset plates all over it and repeatedly smacked me in the back with it. So after that, I didn't feel so bad about it. But you know that move I do in the corner when people are laying in the corner and I fly at them and hit them with my butt. Well, I did that to Trey Chaos, but he had a bunch of light tubes laying on him. So
snap!
I've done stupid stuff.
Right? To you, it's stupid, but to us fans, it's awesome.
Yeah. Well, it's not stupid at the time because adrenaline is a heck of a thing when you're doing stuff like that. But once you're done and you got to go take it, like we did that. I did a deathmatch tournament where I wrestled Johnny Ryder, and I had to wrestle at Tim Toller's TCW right after that. And I had shards of glass sticking out of my shoulder. Johnny Ryder had taken my promo pictures and staple gunned them to my arms.
Oh wow!
Now
was that during your year-long run as the TCW heavyweight champion? Okay.
Yeah, for 2 years as he's TCW
2 years.
champion. But I literally had to stop at the gas station right before Tim's building and literally give myself a we call it a whore bath because I had to just take I had disinfectant wipes and I was wiping down. I had to pick the shards of glass out of my shoulder and clean myself up the best I could because I don't think the TCW fans would have understood why I came in there looking like I had just gotten in a car wreck. But I remember I was wrestling that night, and while I'm laying on the mat, I looked over and I still saw a shard of glass sticking out of my shoulder. I had missed one, but
oh man. Missy Childers said, "Miss you, Big Country." Smiley, feel good. Hasn't seen you in a while, brother. Big Country. And Donald Gwynn said, "Yes, me and Insane Lane."
Smiley. The last time I saw him, his sister threatened to kill me because I was constantly beating him up.
That's funny right there. I love that. Now, speaking of death matches, again, we met at a flea market 10 years ago or so. Around that same time, I went back to the flea market. You guys were still passing out flyers at the time for EWF back then. And I was looking for DVDs to watch at home because I just got tired of watching all the ones I had. And I came up to you and I said, hey, I'm looking for DVDs. You know what? Oh, I've got one for you. And I don't know if you remember this, but you handed me a deathmatch DVD. You said, here, I'll give this to you. Go home and watch it. And
was it a Japanese deathmatch one?
No, it was like the 10 bloodiest death matches of all time or something like that. I've got it right back here. I'll have to find it, and I'll send you a picture of it. But I watched literally, I'm not even joking with you, Big Country. I literally watched the first 5 minutes of the first match, and I couldn't do it. It was that bad.
There was a flea market I used to go to in Fort Mill that there was a guy that sold DVDs like for $1, and literally I would stand there for like 30 minutes going through his stuff because he would have like all types of Japanese death matches.
Oh,
I mean, there was one they used to call this guy his Crazy Monkey, I believe his name was. I can't remember what his actual name was, but they had a board and it had scissors sticking up, and he literally got power bombed, and like literally it looked like somebody had stabbed him in the back with a pair of scissors like 3 or 4 times. There was another one where the
how did he not puncture a lung or a kidney? Or
that's what I was trying to figure out, because you would have to pay me. I don't even think there's enough money you could pay me.
No, there's not enough money ever.
They had
Not
another
for me
one,
anyway.
the double-sided razor blades that guys used to shave with back in the day. There was a
Right.
board that had those, like literally 100 of them stuck in there. He took a power bomb on there, and when he got up and turned around, his back was literally looked like ribbons that had been just sliced open. It was
See that's probably all in that video, man. But like I said, I watched the first 10 minutes, and I mean, these guys were these death matches were so brutal that within 10 minutes, I mean, you couldn't even recognize what the guy looked like 10 minutes ago.
well. The only way I got started in watching those was, as everybody knows, Terry Funk and Mick Foley. That's where they really got
Right.
their name from. Was they used to
Right.
go there, and there was a DVD that Insane Clown Posse put out called Stranglemania, and
Yep.
they basically took the deathmatch stuff and they did their own commentary over it. Which was kind of funny. They used to call him Cactus Sack and Drunk Terry Funk, and literally, anybody that's read Mick Foley's biographies or
I
watched his
have.
DVDs, he said that the first ever one that him and Terry Funk did, where he ended up winning,
Yep.
he looked like a mummy when he got on the plane. He had so many bandages wrapped over. He said literally he had a $500 check in his pocket from that and a trophy. So
Wow.
to show you
That's when
that
you
man
that's
had.
when you know you do it for the fans. It's not the money, it's not the trophy. It's when you brutalize yourself like that to make a name for yourself in this business. That's all for the fans, man. I mean, you can't help but respect that. I mean,
You want to
without
know
a doubt.
how I got ready for my first ever death match? I was bouncing at a club called The Money in Rock Hill. A lot of
Okay.
people may not know that. I was a bouncer for 12 years there.
Okay.
We went into the garage where the owner had a bunch of stuff stored, and he had a bunch of the old light tubes that had burned out in the club, and he had the guy take them out and put them in there. So I literally had one of my friends, Brian Oxendine, who was the head bouncer, take the light tubes and hit me in the back with them, so I knew what I was getting into. And let me tell you, those things suck, like literally. And the bad part was what I didn't know.
And you watch matches where you watch these 100 light tube death matches where these guys they'll sit there on their knees in the middle of the ring with these light tubes and they'll just bash them over each other's heads for like 10 minutes straight. It's like, why?
Well, I know they've changed the formula of how they make them, but back in the day, there used to be stuff inside of that was poisonous. And so it's not really, it's bad enough the shards of glass and the stuff that's in the air that you're breathing in, but the fact that you can breathe in poisonous stuff. But yeah, that's the worst part about that stuff is not the initial break. it's when you bump into those things afterwards and all those little tiny shards are just jabbing into you, and then you try to take a shower afterwards and you literally feel like a porcupine because of all the glass shards that are sticking out of your body.
And
Yeah, you gotta
and I can imagine, because you're wiping in the shower, you're wiping like this with a wash rag or whatever you use, and you're literally running them against your skin again to get them off.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then
that's gotta
yeah,
be
so
painful.
it's literally you think to yourself, why is it worth it? But then you see the reactions that the fans get, and it's just like, okay.
Charles Brock said, "What's up, brother? This is what I'm laughing at. He wants to see Big Country versus Dump Truck." Now I have to say, those are two big men. That would be quite the fight. But
Actually, believe it or not, we had the it was for the David Jesus, why can't I think right now? Talking about death matches got me all screwed up.
Right.
David Cody, we did a
Right.
benefit show for him, and
Right.
I wrestled Dump Truck that night. And I
how
thought,
long ago was that? How long ago was that,
oh
though?
God, that was literally about, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, maybe.
Okay. 5, 6
If
years
he's
ago.
watching, he can probably remember better than I can. But
Okay.
and for people that don't know, Dump Truck has asthma, and
Yes.
I got that's the first time I got worried that I wasn't sure about if my opponent was going to make it out of that match or not, because
Oh,
we were
wow.
literally about 6 or 7 minutes into the match and he started turning blue, and I'm like, oh crap.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was a crazy night.
That can get dangerous. Brianna Stone said, "Hey Scott, how are you? I'm doing great, Brianna. I'm sitting here talking with my buddy Big Country about his career." Alex Cloninger said, "Tiny town, Big Country's biggest little fan wants to know, what is Big Country's favorite weapon to find under the ring? If it's legal, in a match, what's your favorite weapon to go to when you go under the ring?"
Well, Scott, depending on what type of match it is, anything could be legal that's under the ring. I've literally taken fake legs off people and beat people with it. So, you know,
Yes.
Jeez, I'd have to go with the kendo stick. That's always a plus.
Right. And
I
and,
own
and
too many of
I
them.
can't see how a kendo stick doesn't hurt, man. I just it has to leave whelps. I saw, like last night at SummerSlam, I can't remember who was in the match, but somebody was beating somebody with a kendo stick so bad they literally broke the kendo stick. I think it was Jey Uso over Roman Reigns, but he literally broke it. He was hitting them so hard. There's no way that didn't leave whelps.
Oh,
no way.
well, I mean, you got to realize that a kendo stick is a bunch of bamboo, a bunch of bamboo strips that are held together by leather. And when you hit, that bamboo expands and it comes back. So there's times where you get pinched by it. It can break, and then it actually becomes very dangerous if that happens. But no, nothing you get hit by is ever good. I'd rather get hit by a metal chair than a plastic chair. For some reason, those plastic chairs just suck.
Right.
I've been hit by literally anything. Crutches. Yeah.
It's been crazy. I've seen you in some matches where I've seen everything from rubber ducks come out to everything else, man. I mean, you never know what's going to come out. And I know this is Harry right here. I don't even have to ask. He said, "I got turned off the death matches because Terry Funk started doing them. I know it kept his name popular in wrestling business, but I like to remember Terry Funk from the 70s, though." I got you.
Terry,
I mean, death matches aren't everybody's cup of tea.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's, like I said, there's some people that I'm not their cup of tea. They don't like watching me wrestle. I have as many.
I don't know why, but
fans. But that's why wrestling got started in the carnival. And anybody that's been to a carnival realizes there's a wide variety of stuff that you can see at a carnival. You've got games, you've got food, you've got rides, you've got all different types of things. That's why a good wrestling show will have a variety of things, not just,
And that's why a wrestling show fits in great with carnival. That's how the wrestling started, was at carnivals.
Yeah. Well, you got to think, if you have a wrestling show and all you have is the guys that look the same, that wrestle the same, and every single match looks the same. That's going to get boring. If you have a hardcore match, a technical style match, a high flying match, a hardcore match, a death match, you have something, it'll be everybody's cup of tea. Everybody can pick something out of that and enjoy it. But then you got those people that are just going to be critical douchebags that no matter what you do, they're going to complain about everything. They're armchair bookers. They've never wrestled a match in their life, but they can tell you how to have a 5-star match. I'll tell you. Yeah, there's always going to be those people. You remember that movie? You remember that movie House Party 3, Bernie Mac, where he talks about there are always those people that no matter what they're gonna hate it. He's like, oh, the weather's nice outside. No, it's not. It might rain. Oh, that's a nice tie you got on. No, it's not. My wife might choke me with it.
Right.
You're always going to have those people that you're not going to be able to please no matter what you do. You could serve them gold on a platter and they find a reason to piss and moan about it.
I just put my saying under there. Give us something to invest in. That's basically what it all comes down to, man. Just give us something to want to come back.
That's why you have to read the room. There's some guys, they don't care what kind of crowd is out there. They don't care how they reacted to matches before them. They're going to go out there and they're going to do what they want to do because that's what they want to do. Me, I'm a guy that I want to go out there and make sure that the fans get their money's worth. So I'll watch the matches before me. I'll see what they did. I'll see what worked and what didn't work. Then you get in your mind, you know what? We're going to have to switch our stuff up because they're not going to give a crap about the stuff that we just, came up with. You have to go out there and you have to appease your fans because they're the reason that you got booked. They're going to be the reason. Now, if it's like a place that you're first wrestling at, they're going to be whether or not you get booked again. Because if you go out there and everybody's sitting on their hands or watching their phones, the promoter sees that. They're like, why am I paying this guy to be here? Guess what? You're not going to come back. You go out there, you don't have to have the most technical, high-flying, craziest match ever. But if you hit those fans in their heart where you should and they react the way they should, there you go. That's all you need.
That's it. That's exactly how you do it, without a doubt. Oh, man. Mary came in a little late. Country, she said, who was your toughest opponent and how many years have you been wrestling?
Toughest opponent. Myself. I'm always my toughest one because I'm always critical of myself. I always, for the longest time, I would listen to haters and people that told me that I had no place in this business, that I was a disrespect to the business because, I didn't have cookie cutter abs and, I didn't belong. I would always listen to them. So, it took me a long time.
You know who you remind me of? You know who you remind me of when I first saw you? After I got to know you and after I saw your wrestling style and that, and this is a compliment. You remind me a lot of Vader, Big Van Vader, man. I mean, that's who I look at when I see you. It's like the almost the same style. I mean, you don't go flying up. I think the only flying thing Vader did was his Vader bomb and he barely got to the second rope half the time to do it.
Well, no, he used to do a moonsault too. Vader, Vader was kind of like Bam Bam Bigelow. Vader, when he was in Japan, was a very agile big man.
I must have saw him in his later years then, but because
I don't know if you watched The Dark Side of the Ring, but they did that one on Bam Bam Bigelow, and they said that the stuff that man could do was ridiculous.
Oh, Bam Bam Bigelow is just astronomical. Yeah, I watched him.
Those are the guys that I grew up with. I mean, there was a guy. If you go back and watch, you had your guys like Bruiser Brody, Stan Hansen, stuff like that. I used to watch Crusher Jerry Blackwell. He was that guy that Bruiser and Stan were afraid to get in the ring with because when you got in there with Jerry, he would beat the living piss out of you. You knew that you were in a fight when you were in there with that man.
He was totally snug, right?
Oh, well, I mean, he took this business. He had so much respect for this business. He wanted to make sure that you may try to call it fake, but you weren't going to call it fake when he was in the ring because there was no way around it. It's the style back in that day. It was, you had to do that because if not, people didn't respect you. Bruiser Brody, Stan Hansen, both the same. Oh, have you ever seen the match with Stan Hansen and Vader where Vader's eye got popped out?
No, I never did.
Oh, it was in Japan.
I'll have to go check that out.
Stan Hansen literally could not see. He was legally blind. somehow his finger got caught in Vader's eye, and it didn't pop it all the way out, but it popped it out to where it was basically bulging behind his eyelids, and you could see it. And what Stan didn't realize he did that. So every time he went to go back at Vader, Vader would punch him in the face. And Stan didn't realize, why Vader was punching him in the face, and Vader's trying to push his eyeball back in his head. Yeah,
I've got to go check that out.
Look that up on YouTube. I will. It's pretty nasty. But no, see that's why I never understood. It's like I grew up watching guys like Harley Race and Dusty Rhodes and Jerry Blackwell, Haystacks Calhoun, guys like that. And it was big guys like me that had a passion and knew how to entertain. And I was like, I understand, why did they have a right and a place to be in this business? But then when I come in it, all of a sudden I'm doing something wrong,
No,
and it took me.
You ain't doing nothing wrong, bro. Let me tell you, nothing wrong.
It took me sitting down with guys like Ethan and guys like James and Wicked and stuff like that, and talking to them to where finally I got my self-respect and my self-worth to where I didn't listen to them. My skin got thicker and everything they said. It
motivated you instead of depressing you.
Well, if I didn't belong in this business, I wouldn't have been constantly booked for 20 years. And it's not like I just got booked by one company. I worked for one company. I mean, I'm not as traveled as most people, but I was booked every weekend, during.
And you were the champion at multiple places.
Exactly. If I was that bad, why would a company trust me to be the face of their company like that,
Right.
So,
and won for 2 straight years. I'll never forget that. When I went up there to see you at TCW, that was amazing, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they were literally going into the locker room trying to figure out who was going to beat you.
I literally wrestled there. I mean, everybody, the Barbarian. I teamed with Ricky Morton there a bunch of times. Tommy Wildfire Rich.
Oh man, one of my heroes too. Charles Brock said, I remember at the COVID Dome, all the Legos in the ring and you using the kendo stick in the match.
Yeah, it was a last man standing match I had with Belton Creedmoor. There was Legos. I think I brought a fork out at one time. But yeah, the finish of that match, I super kicked him off the side of the ring and he went through a barbed wire covered table and I won.
Straight Up Wrestling Show, I'm pretty sure it's still Harry, said, I've seen too many of these matches from Dump Truck. He's in better shape now. I'm sure that that had you worried, Country. I'm pretty sure it did. And we know he's in better shape. It's been 6 years. I mean, he's learned a lot in 6 years. Alex Cloninger said, if Big Country could have a match against any fallen wrestler from history, who would you choose?
It's got to be a tie between Vader or Bam Bam. I mean, I really wish I got to meet Vader one time. I never got to meet Bam Bam, and I hate that. But yeah, those were guys that I looked up to, and I would be honored. Oh, you want to hear a funny Vader story?
Okay.
He was wrestling for Big Time Wrestling, and they brought this kid in, and I guess this kid had drank too much of his own Kool-Aid. He was a champion of some local thing.
No, and, not in wrestling.
And he walks up to Vader. He's wrestling Vader that night. Vader was just going to job him out like, normally. And he walks up to Vader and starts talking about spots. And Vader just looks at him and goes, kid, you're talking like you think you're going over tonight. And he says, well, I'm a champion here at the local Fed. He says, kid, if you were going over, I wouldn't be here. So he listened to what the kid had to say and then went out there and beat the living piss out of the kid from pillar to post. Literally, he pinned the kid. The kid rolled out, grabbed his bag, and left. Like, before Vader could stand up and get his hand raised, that kid was in his car crying with his mom, probably going back home.
But he learned a valuable lesson that night, I guarantee you.
People didn't realize, as mean as Vader looked in that ring, he was a very...
Oh, he was a gentle giant.
Yeah, they said there was a time where I believe it was a match at SummerSlam he had against Shawn Michaels. He did something and he messed up the spot. And Shawn yelled at him, and literally after the match, he was in the back crying. It's like
Wow.
you look at these guys and think they're made of adamantium or something, but
Right.
literally, you got to realize we all have hearts.
Exactly. Harry said, "You're fun to watch, Big Country. I would love to see you in a hardcore match." I saw him in. I can't remember what stipulation the match was. I think it might have been hardcore, but you got split open so bad that they had to literally throw the X up and take you to the back. I mean, it wasn't that long ago.
That might have been the one I had with
Kincaid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he stabbed me in the forehead with his bone.
that's what it was. Yeah,
And
he
there
hit
was-
you with the bone in the head. Yep.
Yeah, I was bleeding. I took my shirt off. wrapped
Ladies
around
and
my head.
gentlemen, when I say he was bleeding, I'm not even joking. You know those white plastic chairs that you fold over? They were using that against each other. Kincaid hit him one time with that chair. Country grabbed the chair from him and was holding it down here like at his chest. He was bleeding so bad, you couldn't tell the chair was white by the time they got him to the back. And I'm not even joking. It was that bad. It was.
I've done dumb things.
Yeah, it was, and then everybody was wondering, because they, threw the X sign up, they got you to the back, and the bell rang, and we were like, "What's going on? What's going on? What?" And they finally, had to announce to the crowd what had happened, but it was,
You literally
was
don't want to
amazing.
see somebody bleed to death in front of you. So
Yeah, no, don't want to see that at all.
that literally
Alex-
wasn't the worst time though. At that same place, Club Hush, I was wrestling Sweet Dreams for the United States Championship, and I got busted open so bad. I was in the back, and I had a bucket underneath me. I was literally just letting it pour into the bucket. And it was funny because the guy came up to me and said, "Hey, man, you're supposed to cut a promo, but I'll let you get bandaged up." I said, "No, turn the camera on. Let's do this." And there was literally a promo with me. Literally, it didn't even look like I had a face. It looked like I had a red mask on.
Oh
Yeah,
my
I
gosh,
probably-
that's awesome.
I
I want to
cut one
find
of the
that
best
promo. Do
promos
you
of
have
my
that
life.
promo?
Look up Big Country XWW on YouTube. You might be able to find it.
I will definitely look for that, without a doubt. Alex said, "How does it feel to know you have a fan who does not want to go to a wrestling show in this area unless your name or face isn't on the flyer?"
I like that, but I don't want fans to limit themselves just because I'm not on the show, because there's so much great wrestling around that I want everybody to experience it, no matter if I'm there or not. Oh, which reminds me, August 19th, ACCW presents Back to Brookford Hall. It's going to be in Hickory. I'm not wrestling, but I will be there. I haven't seen a lot of my friends in a long time. I know Gene Perry will be there. Johnny Ryder and Nick Nitro took over ACCW and have done such phenomenal things with it. I mean, former AEW and WWE wrestler Bobby Fish is their champion right now, and he's going to be wrestling one of my best friends, one of my brothers that I love, Thomas Extreme. You're going to have Casey Fox versus Erica. I always mess her name up. Erica Demia. Yes. The daughter of Chris Solar, who's another good friend of mine. You got Whiskey Business versus The Revolt, which is Caleb Conley and Zane Riley. You've got so many great matches that are going to be going on there. So if you guys aren't doing anything and you want to come hang out with your boy, I'll share the flyer. I've shared it all over.
I'm getting the flyer right now as we speak.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to
Upload
be
it as we speak.
It's going to be phenomenal, and that's how much respect I have for the wrestling business. And how much
I believe
respect
this
I
is the one you're talking about, isn't it?
Yes, sir. That's it right there.
There you go.
But I mean, you got everything. Cam Jackson. You're going to have Fisticuffs is going to be. I mean, everybody's going to freaking be there. It's going to be. There's not one bad looking card on that match. I mean, and I literally went on there and bought my pre-sale ticket for front row so I could make sure I was there, because it's been a long time since I've been able to go, and I've really been excited to just be a fan of the show. Don't get me wrong, I would love to be in that locker room with everybody there, but I'm still
Don't miss it. In case the type is a little small for you, it's August 19th, 2023. Doors open 6 o'clock, bell time 7 o'clock. It's at the Brookford Town Hall, 1700 South Center Street in Hickory, North Carolina. Tickets ringside's $15. Auditorium seating, regular admission is $10. You don't want to miss this show. Back to the Brookford Town Hall. There you go.
Yep.
That's going to be a great man. I know almost everybody on that poster. That's going to be a banger, man.
I'm telling you, man, they're doing such awesome stuff. I mean, from the ring skirts to everything they're doing is just phenomenal. I'm so proud of those guys.
Ron Emerson, I like this. Ron Emerson said, "Country, don't make fun of Meltzer like that. He can't help but be a douchebag, Dave."
Dave Meltzer. Everybody thinks it. Don't get me wrong. He's made a name for himself in the business, but there's some of the 6-star matches he's rated that, basically looks like a bunch of, pre-done acrobatics. It's just crazy. No stories whatsoever.
Alex asks, "Are you in the Haliotsko tournament this year?"
Yes, I am. I will be in the Haliotsko Memorial Tournament. There is
as soon as Gene announces all the information, gets the poster out and stuff like that, I will definitely put it out for you guys.
Well, he came out earlier and announced it's Christopher Prince, who's also a returning champion, the current champion, Braden Marshall, who is a former champion, myself, which is a former champion. So there's 3 different people that can become the first ever 2-time. So you got Christopher Prince, Braden Marshall, myself, Jackson Sane, Johnny Ryda. There's 3 people I'm forgetting. God, see, this is how bad my memory is.
As soon as we get off the air, those 3 people will pop right in your head.
Oh, watch. Tristan Williams.
There you go. Oh, Tristan. Nice.
Yeah, Tristan. Zachariah Cutter.
Okay.
There's one more.
One more.
Yeah. It might come to me. I don't know.
It's all good. It's all good. That's stardom right there. That's going to be a pretty good tournament. And if you guys have never been to the Haliotsko Memorial tournament, it's a my mind just went blank, dude. Yeah, old age
show, and it's a memorial show in honor of one of my very good friends, Gene Perry's daughter, Holly,
right,
who passed away from colon cancer. I want to say 9 or 10 years ago. And every cent that's made at that show goes to the hospice that took care of Holly while made her comfortable while she was.
It's a single elimination 8-man tournament is what it is. That's what I was trying to spit out and I couldn't spit it out. But 8-man single elimination tournament. There will be a winner before the end of the night, and it's always been an amazing show. You know what? I'm not picking you this year, Country. I'm not picking you.
Yeah, because every time
I pick you, you're going to be the second. You never win it, man. I'm not picking you this year.
It's not just that, but the last 2 times I've ended up coming down with some medical problem, and I wasn't able to make it.
Yeah, so I'm not picking you at all.
I'm not going to win it this year.
Yeah, I'm not going to pick you. That's for sure. I'll be rooting for you. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not going to pick you this year.
But yeah, no, it's an awesome show, which I'm honored to be on. And actually, the first ever Haliotsko Memorial Tournament was a series of triple threat matches that ended in a 4-way ladder match at the very end.
Yes,
I remember I wrestled Neil Nitro and Superlaw in the first round, and Superlaw ended up winning. So yeah.
Alex said the Haliotsko is our favorite show of the entire year. Would like James Johnson or Big Country to win it one more time. There you go. Ron Emerson said, I think I need to reach out to Gene Perry about this event. Yeah, do that, man. It's a good show, without a doubt. Very, very good show.
Anybody else that has a podcast or anything like that, I think I do a decent enough job. Hit me up.
Yeah, there you go. Ron Emerson of the Wrestling Wire, hit him up. Straight Up Wrestling Show, hit him up. Peaches and Power Bombs, hit him up. All you guys out there, hit up Big Country, man. I mean, hey, I'm looking up an hour and 10 minutes, and it's felt like 15. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It's always like that, though.
I've got tons of crazy stories, all the way from Sid Vicious to Al Snow,
right?
Barbarian. I got a bunch of them.
And everybody likes asking you questions, man. And that's the one thing I like about you, Big Country. I'm just gonna, tell you from me. I feel like Ron Emerson there. Whenever I come to a show and you sit down and you tell me stories, I always learn something, man. And it's amazing how you. I've seen you many times. I've went to shows early because of my status, being a podcaster. And you're out helping guys in the ring before the show. You're helping, how does it feel to be, I'm going to go back to being the podcaster again, but how does it feel to be that woolly veteran now in the locker room that, these kids look up to and come up and ask you questions? How did it feel when that started happening?
I've never called myself a veteran. I'm a guy who's been around for a while and seen a lot of things. And if there's something that I think that I could help somebody with, they say you always want to leave this business better than the way you found it. So, anything I can do, whether the people want to listen to me or not, I've never been the guy that doesn't want to help people. There's a lot of people that just keep to themselves because they're like, oh, if I help this person get better, they might, steal my sunshine or steal my spot. I'm not worried about that. If you're going to take my spot, then I guess you earned it. And more power to you. But
Right.
if I feel that somebody might need some help and there's something I can do to help, then why not? I mean,
Right.
I'm no better than anybody else.
Right. I'm just, it's always been a pleasure to come up to you at a show and talk to you, come to your merch table. And by the way, guys, he has a spectacular merch table. Big Country doesn't just show up with, a table and put some things on it. He's always got a big poster behind him. It's, you'll know it when you walk in a building if Big Country has his merch table available. Let me tell you, it's an extravaganza in itself, right? Bracelets, t-shirts, hats, the whole 9 yards. I've always loved looking at his merch table, and he always brings head.
Well, that was all my years I spent being around, George South and, guys like that. They, everything that you sell is basically a representation of yourself. It's like your fans can be walking billboards for you. I actually had a fan send me a picture of somebody from the UK who had a Big Country shirt on. So,
Nice.
yeah, that was crazy. So, but I never want fans to get bored. There's always, I've got everything from pins to keychains to bracelets. I used to sell the things that you put on the back of your phone so you hold it so when you're at night while looking at Instagram, you don't hit yourself in the face. And
Right.
I've always made my stuff affordable. I used to go to these shows and guys were selling pictures for like $10, $15 and shirts for like $40 and hats for like $30. And it's like, a lot of these people, and sometimes when they show up there, that's money they've saved throughout the week and, is a little fun they can have. And the last thing I want to do is, leave them broke. So
Right. Exactly. I'm glad you said that, man, because that, like I said, you got to be for the fans, man. If the fans can't afford it, it should be if you go to a place that's packed out with 200-300 people and you only sell a couple things on your merch table and you have a really nice looking merch table, you might want to look at your prices and maybe I'm not saying don't make money off of anything. That's not what I'm saying, but lower them, like he said, to, adjust to where you're at, and that has a lot to do with it. Now, if you're in downtown Charlotte, the prices might be a little higher, but if you're out in the hood somewhere at the back, in a small community, you're not going to get those big prices. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's like I did a show in Shelby where we had people like who all was there? Abyss was there.
Ooh,
D'Lo Brown, Gangrel.
wow.
A bunch of names were there, and I had a line constantly at my table, and I was selling. I didn't have time to get some real quality pictures, so I went to Staples and just got some on some regular cardboard back cutout stuff, and
Right.
I was selling my pictures for like $2 or $3. And one of the guys' managers was getting mad. They're like, "Hey, we're over here, not selling much, and you got a line at your table." I was like, "Well, you're selling your." It was a picture. Picture itself was $20. If you wanted to take a picture with them, then it was like more. And I mean, like the prices were crazy. And I was like,
And
you know,
if you
sometimes,
autographed it on top of that, it was probably more than that.
well, sometimes people can't afford that. I
Yeah.
didn't think my autograph made a picture anymore. So it was like, I'll sign anything you want. And then they were like, if you wanted to take a picture with your own phone, it cost you like $10. You know, there was
Wow.
I grew up not having a lot, so it's like I
Right.
understand where people are coming
Right.
from. So you know, the last
I
thing I
mean,
ever
I can.
want
I
to
mean,
do.
let me say this in that, you know, if you have like big, huge stars, like, you know, you named a few right there. I mean, if they're big, huge stars, I could see, you know, charging a little something. But if you make it, you know, $10 just to take a picture with your own phone, you
But
know,
see, it's also
crazy.
treating the fans like people and not price tags. Like
Right.
I've been at
Right.
shows where I've seen people walk up and they're like, "Hey man, how you doing? I loved your match." And like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. T-shirts are 30, pictures are 10." It's like, you know, you totally just literally blew that person off and treated them like a price tag. And it's like
Right.
I've sat there and talked with fans for 20 and 30 minutes and not sold a thing on my table. And I knew that when they left my table, they they were happy. You know, you didn't buy anything, but at least I knew I made an impression on them. You know.
Alex said, Big Country has never shied away from taking pictures with my kids. He has posed with all four multiple times. There you go.
Exactly. I appreciate my fans and I treat them like people.
And this is true. I've even seen this. Alex says, I know it because Riley, his son, screams, Daddy, Big Country, we got to go see him. I've seen him at shows scream when you come out, is what I meant. But that's
Oh,
just, man, that's awesome. And you've got a few fans that are like that, that come to almost every show you go to. And that's gotta feel really good to know that you've got fans that respect what you do and will follow you almost anywhere.
I have had fans that like I've had last minute bookings in places like Georgia and stuff. They literally drove like 3 to 4 hours to go to that booking because they just wanted to watch me wrestle. They had no idea about what the show was about or anything. It was just because I was on there that they, you
Wow.
know, they wanted to
I
come see
love
me.
that. I love that.
It's
That
because
that is totally
I
cool.
appreciate my fans and everything they're about. You know.
And my wife always tells stories now because the last few times you've been at HWA, my wife has helped you with your merch table, and she didn't realize how popular you really were until we got to driving home after one of the shows, and she goes, "Man," she goes, "them people were buying some stuff." He goes, "He made some pretty good money there." It was kind of like, you know, hey, maybe you need to become a professional wrestler. I'm like, no, no, no. But you know,
Well,
she loved doing it.
everything,
It was fun.
all the money I usually get, I end up reinvesting it for more stuff. And I'm always looking for different things. Like I said, I got pop sockets for the back of the phone. Those things sold out quick. I didn't realize that those were as popular as people, you know, they were.
Oh
But
yeah, people want to be able to either hold their phone right, you know, or they want, or if they set it down and they don't want to hold it, they can set it down with the pop socket and it'll lean up. And yeah, oh yeah,
ain't
those things
nothing
are very
worse than
popular.
laying in your bed and you got your phone over your face and you're trying to look and all of a sudden it falls out, bam, smacks you in the face. You got to explain why you got a black eye from your phone. But no,
Right,
I always want to make sure there's something for everybody's price range. You know, you ain't got a
right,
lot. Hey, I've got bracelets for $2. I've got pins. I've got stickers. I've got trading cards. You know, and I like supporting companies too. And like when they hit me up on Facebook or something, and they're like, "Hey, we do stickers. We give you this deal. Would you mind, throwing us some business?" And yeah, sure. You know,
right,
if I believe it's profitable, you know, I'll do it.
right. Without a doubt. Alex said something that, wow, that's a good group of names to be with. Big Country, Sting, Jericho, and DDP are all grouped in a special group of pro wrestlers who have never charged for personal pics with cell phones. There you go.
I'm telling you, I've sat there and I've watched we did a show at East High School and Road Warrior Animal, RIP, came there and it was literally uh if you wanted a picture, have him sign it and take a picture with your phone, it was $40. If you wanted to do that and wear his shoulder pads, it was like 60. And I was like, I don't know people that come there after paying for your ticket, buying concessions and stuff like that. A lot of people that have money.
Not
like
many
that.
people can afford that. Yeah, yeah.
Now, I've seen
Especially if you've
people-
got, if you've got 4 or 5 kids that are not, the free kind that you can get, and you actually have to actually pay. If you got 4 or 5 teenagers coming with you, 3, 4 teenagers coming with you, yeah, that's hard to, doyle out that much money. It really is.
But I mean, there's like when WrestleCade comes around, I know people that buy those $100 picture packages, and I mean, there's people I think they get a loan out on their house to pay for a lot of that stuff. But
yeah. And I'm not saying, we're not saying don't do it, ladies and gentlemen. What we're saying is, if I have a superstar, and I'll tell you right now, if the Nightmares were to come somewhere and say, hey, it's $100 to take a picture, I would probably go do it, because I would never see the Nightmares but once in a blue moon, and it would be something special to do. You know what I'm saying? We're not saying don't do it, but what we're saying is a lot of people can't pay those prices. You know what I'm saying?
That's why, I mean,
Big Country said, you're gonna have to. That's 2, 3 4 or 5 paychecks for some people to save up to get one picture taken. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I mean, like I said, I grew up not having a lot, so I understand. I appreciate, going out of your way to make sure that, like, there's a lot of times where I've had kids that come up and they want something, but their parents don't have any money. I'll take a picture and sign it and be like, here you go. You want to take a picture, or that's why I always get an abundance of like my bracelets and stuff. So, if I have a kid that I know their parents don't have a lot of money, I have no problem giving them something off my table. Now, those fans will walk up and be like, so is all this stuff free? And it's like, was it free for me to get it?
No.
For those that I know are pure of heart, and I understand that they don't have a lot, I have no problem. But there's those people that they have a bunch of other wrestlers' merch in their hands that I know that they paid money for, and they want to come up and ask me about free stuff. It's
Right.
like, wow, nah.
Yeah, that's never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. So we're about to end this thing. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
One funny story. I had a kid.
Go ahead.
One of the first shows that I was on with the Rock and Roll Express, I literally had a kid walk up, grab one of my promo pictures, and go to walk off. And I said, "Hey, kid," I said, those actually cost money. He said, "No, sir. Ricky Morton down there said if I bought one of his things that I could come down here and have one of yours for free." And I looked down the line, and Ricky Morton started waving at me, and I was like, that's funny. Go ahead and take that, kid.
That's good stuff right there. Now that is a fun. That's cool. That's cool. I like that. He's always been. He jokes like that all the time too. Almost every show he goes to, he's got funny stories or he jokes on somebody.
If I'm on a show with Ricky Morton, I'm so happy because I know I've watched Kerry Morton. He used to be a little tiny kid. The kid used to punch me in the nuts all the time. I remember that. He'd run around the locker room and he'd just be like, and seeing him grow up and just that to have the honor of being able to be in a lot of the locker rooms with a lot of the people that I have, like, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, the Barbarian, Wildfire Tommy Rich, being to step in the ring with all these guys, Matt Hardy, stuff like that. Literally, if I had to stop, Scott, if I had to never step foot in the ring again, I think I'm content. I had a wrestling bucket list that I filled up a long time ago, and I'm content with the way. I didn't think I was going to make it a year, and here I am 20 years in. So
we've been talking so long that I forgot to play the match we were going to play. We'll do that next time. I promise you. We'll play a match for Big Country. We'll get an up-to-date match. That way, it'll be a more up-to-date match. The one I was going to show was like 2 years old. So
you might want to watch those ones from back in the day. I'm not sure how it's going to go along this time.
No, man, I'm pretty sure you're going to go out there and you're going to do your thing as soon as you come back, whenever your next show is. As a matter of fact, go ahead and plug yourself one more time before we get out of here, man. I'm sorry, this steel chair is getting bad on my back, and I
understand, buddy.
I got to go do what I got to do, man.
This Saturday, August 12th, I will be back at HWA. August 19th, I will be in the building at for ACCW presents.
This is the show he's going to be at. This is the show, or this is the show where he's going to wrestle. This
That's
is
the
the
show
show
where I'm
where
gonna
he's
be.
going to be at.
Just going to be a fan. Just going to be a
Just gonna
fan.
be a
Come
fan,
hang
but he'll
out,
be there.
watch some awesome wrestling with me. I will be at the Holly Asco Memorial Tournament. And
As soon as I get that poster, if Gene will allow me, as soon as I get that poster, I will be promoting that show too.
yeah, and hopefully, if they do it earlier in the day, I'll be able to make the Billy Ruff Memorial Cup.
Billy
also.
Ruff Memorial, yes, that's going to be two great shows in one day, ladies and gentlemen. If you can hit both of those shows, they're both awesome shows. They're both for the parents in the wrestling business who have lost children, and both shows are awesome.
And depending on if promoters remember me, I might have more shows to come. You know.
There you go. If they remember you, oh my goodness. Well, before I go, I'm going to go through a bunch of shows that are coming up, and I know you've seen a couple already on here, but I'm gonna hit them again. So before Big Country goes, I'm gonna show you guys. We've got Red, White, and Brew USA Main Event Wrestling coming August 20th. It's a free show. Bell time's at 4:00. It's going to be at Triple C Brewing in Charlotte, North Carolina. Coming up, Big Donnie's birthday 4 for NAWA. Bell time's at 7:00. Tickets are $10. It's at the Burke County Fairgrounds. You don't want to miss that show. Also coming up, Parade of Champions for Pro Wrestling Union. I'm sorry, I'm getting all tongue-tied, ladies and gentlemen. September 2nd. And it's going to be in conglomerance with AWL, NCW, CPW, and everybody else. They're coming together, ladies and gentlemen. I love that. Right? I love that. We got Super Clash coming for AWL on October 21st at the Wellport Pavilion. You don't want to miss that. More information as I get it. Shop with a Cop is coming. Heroes to Legends Wrestling. It's going to be September the 7th at the Jackson County Rescue Squad. You don't want to miss that. We showed HWA is going to be Saturday, August the 12th. This coming Saturday. Doors open 6:30. Bell time 7:30. 217 Gilkey School Road in Rutherford. CPW on September 23rd is having its 5th annual takeover. $10 for tickets. Buy them at buytickets.at/CPW. You don't want to miss that show. It's a great live music by the Nathan Melton Band. You don't want to miss that. Also, Wrestling for Christ is having a show August 26th at the KM American Legion Hall. $10 at the door, and all proceeds are going to go to their Philippines trip, where they go over to the Philippines and they teach everybody about Jesus. So concessions there, everything is going toward that. So show up for that one, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, ACCW presents Back to the Brookford Town Hall, August 19th. You don't want to miss that at the Brookford Town Hall, 1700 Center Street, Hickory, North Carolina. Tickets are $15 for front row, and general admission is $10. There you have it. All these shows and a lot more. And Big Country's going to be wrestling at one, and he's going to be a fan at another. So go back and find out when that is. Big Country, I'm going to ask you one last question that I like asking all my other wrestlers that come on. I might have asked you this before. This is about our 12th interview together. But what would the Big Country of today tell the Big Country, other than your name, because I know you couldn't stand your name when you found out that 50,000 wrestlers were Big Country. Other than your name, what would the Big Country of today tell the Big Country that got into wrestling back in the day? What would you tell that guy?
You belong. Don't let anybody else tell you different.
I like that. There you go. Without a doubt. Big Country, you know you are always welcome on #Truth Brother. And if you guys are wondering why we did this on a Sunday instead of my regular week, shoot job all week, his hours are, it coincides with the same time, #Truth. So, sir, I appreciate you coming on a Sunday evening. I know people are at church. They're going to watch this later on, the ones that usually watch my show. But I appreciate you coming by, man. And you've always got an open invitation to #Truth, man.
I appreciate you having me, Scott. I'm surprised you remembered I was still around.
No, never forget you, brother. Never, ever, ever, man. You're my brother from another mother. There you go. All right, Big Country, guys. He's going to be in Rutherfordton this Saturday. Don't miss it out at HWA Live. And he's going to bring the big and the boom, and that is the hashtag truth. We'll see you guys tomorrow night with another show.